Good morning and a warm welcome to our Day 3 webinar on Effective Leadership Skills Post-COVID-19 Pandemic, organized by University of Mumbai, Thane Subcampus and MES's Pillai College of Education and Research, Chembur. I take this opportunity to thank Dr. Sunita Magre, IC Director, Professor, Department of Education, University of Mumbai, and the management of Mahatma Education Society for providing us with a platform to organize these webinar series. I'm truly delighted to share that our Day 1 webinar and Day 2 webinar has crossed more than 3,500 views. Truly impactful. Our webinar has been quite progressive. Today, we have amidst us a very special guest, Miss India 1979, a very fine actress, a strong and true advocator of life skills. Global Teacher Prize Top 10 Finalist 2019, and above all, a kind, gentle, and lovable personality. May I invite Dr. Swaroop Sampat Rawal for our Day 3 webinar on Effective Leadership Skills Post-COVID-19 Pandemic. Good morning and warm welcome to you, ma'am.
Good morning, Remy. First, let me thank you and thank you for inviting me to interact with so
Thank you
many
so much.
people. So,
Thank
good
you.
morning to everybody who's joined in. I am so glad to be here. Thank you, especially Pillai College and Remy.
Uh,
So, we talk, sorry, tell me.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It's a pleasure that you are with us today, ma'am.
No,
Uh,
no, no, the pleasure is all mine.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Ma'am, we would like you to share your views on education and your passion towards learning and lifelong learning.
Um, I believe education is the most important thing. It is what really makes us human beings, good human beings, effective people, and good leaders. Just being a good human being is the most important thing for me. And that all just comes through education. But since your topic is on leadership, I'd like to share a bit on that. And, everybody keeps on talking about all the good qualities of leadership. And there are three very important ones I come across every time, but not many people talk about it. And they are empathy, effective communication, and self awareness. So, these I think are very important qualities in a good human being, because without empathy, I think we would really be at a loss at how to be with other people. Because, like the poem goes, no man is an island. And if we have to live with everyone, we have to be empathetic. And to all the teachers and all the leaders there, I would like to tell you a bit about one of my favorite books, To Kill a Mockingbird, where Harper Lee, the hero tells his daughter that you would never really understand what another person feels unless you walk around in that person's skin for a day. So, how about us leaders walking around in the other people's skin for a day and really understanding what they are feeling, not what we think they're feeling, but really understanding their emotions. But narrowing down a bit, Remy, to COVID-19, I would like to add one more skill, which is going to be a very important skill in leadership, and that is creative thinking. I was just talking to my dear friend Francis yesterday, and we're in a situation which we have never imagined. I don't think any of us ever imagined how bad this could be. And when we are going to go back, we're going to meet students, teachers, people who have been through a lot of anxiety, a lot of
Yes,
trauma, a lot of
very
all
true.
this. And now we're going to have to do physical distancing, we're going to have to still teach,
Yes,
and so we will really have to become great creative thinkers.
correct. Very true. Very true, ma'am.
Oh,
Yes, ma'am. I truly agree to what you have been saying about empathy because that's the the most crucial thing that we really need at this point of time, to feel for others, and how it really transpires our well-being and our human being as a person, as really true. Yes, ma'am. And since you are a strong advocate of life skills, I'm sure during this period of pandemic, and you have done your 21 days of life skills.
Yes.
We have all witnessed it, and I'm sure that these life skills, you would like to throw a little bit light on your life skills for our for to manage our pandemic, during our pandemic or during our lockdown, ma'am.
Definitely. So, life skills are psychosocial skills. And I don't like to call them soft skills because I think they're really hard skills. They're difficult to learn because you have to practice them every day. They're very difficult to understand because they're psychosocial skills, and there is even two cognitive skills with them. So, uh, life skills, I think, is what makes us reliant, resilient. They make us strong to fight back, because that's one skill we're going to need. And like I told you, the skill of empathy and understanding and managing emotions. Like so often, even at home, even though I am such a, with life skills since the last 20 days, sometimes at home I'm like going crazy, tied down in the house. I haven't stepped out of the house since the 22nd of last month. And that is really telling its toll on all of us. All of us are all the time in each other's face. There's so many demands and so much not happening, and so much anxiety about what's going to happen to us and the world. So, what is going to help us through with all this? I think life skills is, because when we start understanding and managing our emotions well, when we start empathizing with other people, when we start thinking creatively, communicating well, and doing effective problem solving. That is going to be a very important thing, taking good decisions. So, another very important thing that's going to help us is our spirituality. We're going to need all of this in our life during this days, because we may be going in for an extension, and in that case we are really going to need it more now, and they're going to need it as soon as we step out of the house on the first day when lockdown is over for us. Remy?
Very true, ma'am. We'll really need, and I feel the prayers and blessings of for each one of us, and each giving it to for others, will really multiply our safety and security for throughout. Thank you
That's
so
right.
much, ma'am, for being with us. It's a pleasure that you have joined us, and we are so delighted that you could share your valuable time with us.
Thank you, Remy. Always a pleasure to be with you. Thank you very much. And thanks a lot to Pillai College of Education and University of Maharashtra. Sorry, Mumbai.
Thank you so much, ma'am. We hope you stay safe and stay blessed, and take care, and to you and your family, ma'am.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Remy.
you, ma'am.
Thank you.
That was Dr. Swaroop Sampat Rawal, our chief special guest for today. As we move on today, we would like to take the learnings of our day two webinar that focused on positive being, entrepreneurship skills, employability, positive social impact, digitization, and above all, talking about harnessing your skills. With this learning, we move ahead to our day three webinar on ethics and strategy leadership. We would, as we move ahead, we would also like to invite Dr. Sunita Magre, IC Director, Thane Subcampus, University of Mumbai, Professor, Department of Education. Ma'am, thank you for joining us through on this webinar. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, we are here to hear you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, we would like to hear from you, ma'am.
Mm. Yeah, I welcome all the participants in third day of this webinar organized by the University of Mumbai Thana Sub Campus and the Mahatma Education Society Pillai College of Education and Research Chembur on the webinar on the leadership skill. So it is a very important aspect. And today I also welcome to the our guest to join this webinar. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. You have always been an inspiration and motivation for new initiatives that PCR Chembur has taken up. As we move ahead, we would like to invite our special spokesperson for today, our resource person, Dr. Ashok Pandey, Director, Alcon Group of Schools, Delhi.
Thank you.
Good morning, sir, and a warm welcome to our webinar on effective leadership skills post COVID-19 pandemic, organized by University of Mumbai Thane Subcampus and MESS Pillai College of Education and Research. We welcome you, sir. I hope you
Thank
are
you,
doing,
Dr.
and
Reni.
I hope you and your family are doing fine, sir.
Absolutely, by God's grace. Thank you.
Yeah, that's really nice. So you have been a wonderful mentor and a motivator to many. Your inspirational advices, your views have been a stepping stone and milestones to each one who has been interacting with you. In this regard, could you just throw some light on your leadership role in your organization?
Thank you, Dr. Reni. Thank you, Professor Sunita. Thank you, University of Mumbai, Thane Subcampus, MESS College, Pillai College. I'm absolutely thrilled that I'm able to speak to you, able to speak to so many people whom I'm not able to see. I have been a teacher all my life, which spans more than 30 years, though I have assumed several roles along this pathway. But at the core of it, I have always been a teacher. So once you become a teacher and then you take a role of a principal or a director, I think once a teacher, always a teacher. Of course, in my present role, my only regret is that I'm already observing physical distance from my students, and I'm more connected with the top leadership team, with the teachers, mentoring them, helping them navigate the process of teaching and learning, investing in them, investing in their professional growth, letting them know from whatever little experience I have, how rewarding teaching is a career, and how much can be done to make a difference in the lives of children. And I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Dr. Reni.
That's so wonderful, sir. Yes, I
Thank you.
I agree to your thought on a teacher always a teacher. We may assume different roles, but the passion of teaching really lies within us all throughout and really makes us wonderful every time. As we move on, your topic for today is a very dynamic and a very important topic as well when we talk
Okay.
about leadership and ethics. So many a times we have faced challenging issues on ethical leadership. So could you give us more insight on ethical leadership?
Okay, that's wonderful. But let me, premise my entire talk that I'm going to have with you today with what Dr. Swaroop Sampat said. I think she has, in a very brief introduction in her talks, she has already set the agenda for the day, I would call it. And she has given almost the essence of what being a good human being is, essence of what a good leadership is, and that essence is that ethical component of any good human behavior. And therefore, I'm in a way just extending to what Dr. Swaroop Sampat has said. You see, we talk about ethics, we talk about morality from a very, very deep philosophical standpoint. And in the process, I'm afraid we lose sight of some of the simpler aspects of an ethical behavior. Now, any organization and any representative of the top leadership of that organization, I think it should be the core value of that organization, that the basic structure of your leadership should be focused on people. And what should be at the center of that is love for people, the best interest of the people, unity with the people, and creating some kind of synergy with the overall talents and contributions, and what is in the best interest of your stakeholders. If you are able to design this platform where people are at the center, we are talking of unifying and synergizing the resources, and we have the best interest of the stakeholders. I think we have passed the floor test to be an ethical leader. So that is what my understanding is. And if you could just show the first slide,
Yeah.
and if the viewers can also have a short look at it as to what actually I meant by saying that. So here you are. I think this notification of the participants is coming. Yeah, now I think it's clear. So love for people, care for people, unifying our resources, and the fourth one is synergy. I think that's absolutely brilliant. Now everybody can see this. So these are the four pillars, in my opinion, of that ethical leadership. But if you can just go to the next slide, Dr. Rainey, I can continue my discussion. Yeah, no, I think that we have moved a bit ahead. So the next one is, of course, just before that, what are the strategies to move ahead with that basic presumption of ethical leadership? And there comes that we have to be a first-rate communicators. We have to, I said, people first. They should be at the center. And we have to build their capacities. And we have to keep their enthusiasm on. You see, it's very easy to lose out on your enthusiasm, particularly in times of crisis and anxiety and fear and uncertainty. And therefore, a very proactive leadership would never lose sight of the fact that our communications had to be in place. We have to keep people first, and we have to invest in building their capacity, and we have to keep their enthusiasm on. Now, I've just picked up two pieces of communication from a principal to her parents and staff, just to give you an idea what a caring, proactive, compassionate communication is all about. And if you just notice, Dr. Swaroop, Sampat also talked about the integral component in the leadership through communication. So the next slide, if you just see the communication, and it says that it is finally starting to sink in a little as I sit in this empty building. The principal is saying that the purpose of this email, which she is writing, to check in on you, in just a matter of days, so much has been added to your plate. Please know you're not alone in it. If you need anything during this time, I'm an only email away. Our teachers are also ready and willing to help. Just imagine, full of care, compassion, keeping people first. And then she goes on to add to this, please know that during these times, there is no expectation of perfection. Our staff has worked to give you resources to help create some normalcy for your kids, but we must most definitely don't expect you to do it all. That is lowering down your expectation. You have so many other things you are trying to shuffle in between. You see, the three acid test or litmus test, as we say, of any good communication is that first, it has to be courageous. So you have to tell the truth without mincing the words, but in such a way that instead of creating any fear or panic, it creates reassurances. So that
Yes.
is called
Very true.
courageous. It has to be very candid. Again, it should not be
Yeah.
roundabout, and
Yes.
it should not be to deflect attention. It has to be candid.
Yeah.
And the third one, which is very, very important, is, and you saw in this particular piece of communication, it has to be compassionate.
Yeah.
Because in any situation, even in a normal situation, I think the people
Yeah.
have some anxiety, which overwhelms them.
Yes.
And in a situation like this that we are all caught in, I think anxiety and fear and some traumatic situations, they are most overwhelming. As leaders, I think we have to think that everybody, howsoever capable he or she may be, there may be certain aspects of their life which may be very challenging to them. And if,
True.
as a leader, you do not, give your shoulder for them to lean on, who else will? That is the part of communication that we have to take it very seriously. The Gallup, one of the foremost coaching and HR agencies in the world, they came about certain very vital information about what employees expect from their leadership in situations like this. And more than 1 lakh people they surveyed, and many of them have gone through crisis period, so that the exact feeling during that crisis period of that particular person can be brought out. Just to cut this story short, they came across just 4 expectations that every employee has from their top leadership. And those 4 expectations are trust.
Mm-hmm.
Do
Very
they
true.
trust the top leadership or not? The
Yes.
second one is compassion.
Yes.
The third one is hope. Is the leadership building hope, or they are building depression or morose? And the fourth one is, do employees feel a sense of stability around them under these uncertain periods? And that is what I said earlier, that you must offer your shoulder for others to
Believe.
lean on.
Yes.
And that is very, very important. So this should be the strategy, in my opinion. So I was mentioning about communication, and then people first. I have already said it. Capacity building, that is very, very important. Many a times leaders, under some kind of pressure to get result or to please their stakeholders, they forget that capacity building is very, very important. You have the best employees, they're very loyal to you, they're very trustworthy, but if you have not given them the right skills, how do you expect them to deliver results? And you should not shy away from building their capacity. And if I just give you a parallel to the present situation, the teaching community at this point of time, almost in the midnight, they were called upon to take online class next morning. You see, just
Yeah.
metaphorically, I'm speaking. Now, if we do not tell them how to navigate a digital platform, what are the resources, how to design an online lesson plan, how to create interesting elements, how to embed a video, how to embed a podcast, how to take care of the safety and privacy issues while dealing with children
Yeah.
online,
Yeah.
then how do you expect the teachers to deliver? So that capacity building is very, very
Very crucial.
important.
Yes.
And then hand holding. You have to hand hold them, and tell them that, come on, their cognitive load, the pressure on them, the expectations from them,
Yes. Yes.
everything is to be moderated. And I think, Dr. Rainey, I would like to tell to my viewers, and particularly those who are in leadership position, that this is the best period perhaps to prove to the people who are following you that you are the best ever leader available, just by following 2 or 3 things. And some I have already said, and some I'm going to tell you next. So come to the slide, learning. uh, Next, I'm coming to Just see, learning communities. We are all part of the learning community. And I talked about building capacities. And also, the children have to do something later on. I'll come to that also in a short period of time. So, some of the skills that children have to learn in the present time, and the teachers have to demonstrate it. They have modeled their own behavior and their own learning, uh, so that children are able to imbibe it in the most conducive manner. Learning to learn. You see, the so much of upheaval has already taken place, and the person who learns faster and learns how to learn a new skill. Dr. Swaroop Sampat mentioned about learning new skills, life skills. Now, how to learn them faster and what are the strategies to learn those skills, that will matter the most. Adapting to the new changes. You see, there is a saying that a bird would never learn to fly unless she is pushed out of the nest. So so we have to have some ability to take a risk. We have to have a lot of curiosity for new things. We have to have the ability to overcome our fear when it comes to new learning. And the third thing is that we have to take action. You see, if we have the capacity, if we have the ability, and if you're not able to take action, and if you're not able to put it into practice for the benefit of the people in society, our students, so that will not be very, very effective. So I think we have to build a learning community which understands these nuances, that right now the new skill, as many skills as we can learn, will be beneficial to each one of us. And just imagine, over a period of just about 3 weeks time, if I talk only of the teaching community, I think hundreds of new skills they have learned. They had absolutely no idea of the digital world. They have no idea of the remote learning. They have no idea of embedding various media into a 40 minutes class from a distance. So what does it prove? It proves that our ability to learn, our ability to adapt, and our ability to push everything to action, and as many as possible skills we learn, we will be able to form as many habits and as many good behavior, as much of capacity building, and that will make us a better leader, a better person, a person who will be able to help others. Because every action that we take, that action at the back of it is motivated by the fact that how my action is going to help somebody else. It is that particular motivation
Yes,
that drives us to learn new skills
true.
and to adapt to the new skills.
Very true.
And therefore, I come to the next slide, Dr.
Yes,
Rainey.
sir.
You see, I will just briefly tell you, just please alert me also about the time if I'm going a
Sure, sure.
little
Definitely.
deeper. So just you can quietly tell me. I
Definitely, sir.
will cut it short. Okay. You
No, it's
see,
been impressive.
one thing which has become a buzzword ever since the declaration of this pandemic, that we have entered into a radically new world. Now, what is a radically new word? I will just take a minute to tell you the key components of anything which is described as being a radical. Any radical change must have four qualifications. One is that change is of enormous magnitude. The second one is that change has its impact for a very, very long time. It has a far reaching impact. And the third is that the nature of the change is very much transformative. It can transform societies, it can transform the way we work, the way we function, the way we move, the way we look at ourselves, the way the humanity as a whole is going to re-engineer the whole thing around it. So that is the transformative part of it. And the fourth one is, which in my opinion is something amazing of any radical change. And that component is that it motivates people to innovate. And innovation comes out of these radical changes which necessitate new inventions. We call it that the if we are in adversity and if we are shackled by the new situations, probably we will think of something else to be able to come out of it. So that is the radical nature of this change. And in this, the leaders have to be very, very smart. And you have to take a smart strides. And as a leader, what is smartest strides you can take? I think the only smartest stride which is within your control is that how you can drive your people, how you can marshal the collective wisdom, talent, and resources of the people that you're working with. That is the smart leadership. And that is smart leadership and that marshalling of the force of your team is based on, as I said, good communication, compassion, having a very nice conversation, keeping the conversations on and on and on, and at the same time, not forgetting the best interest of those people. So that is the smart leadership. And we have to revisit our purpose. What is our purpose? In situations like this, in a radically changed situation, smart leadership, and reworking your purpose. So right now, of course, learning is the purpose. The growth of the children is purpose. Connectivity with the children is a purpose. But at the same time, to bring them emotionally out of this traumatic situation, to reach out to all the children who do not have access to all the technologies and gadgets at this point of time. So that innovation we have to do. And at the same time, how to keep the morale and enthusiasm of the people working around us in top gear. So that is the third thing. And of course, the fourth thing is all these things will never succeed if we are not able to build relationships. So build relationship with your team, build relationship with your stakeholders, find a means and ways how you connect with them, how you take them on board, how you're able to communicate to them what you're doing. Unless you give your trust to the people, people will not return that trust back to you. So that is something which is very, very important. And that is something different that we have to perform at this particular point. And therefore, what are some of the strategies and some of the tips through which we can do it, how to respond to these situations? And for that, we have to change our mindset and we have to be a different kind of a leader, as I said, for the children, for the people working with us, for the stakeholders around us. We have to develop a very deep sense of unconditional positive regard. Uh, Unconditional means you just cannot have any quid pro quo to that. That since I'm going to give you love or regard or care, I want something in return. That is not the way. You cannot expect anything from a person for whom you do not have unconditional positive regard. So that is one thing which is very important. Prove we are an compassionate adults. So for the children, the leadership should convey to the team and team should convey to the children that as adults, we are very compassionate people. We are very caring people. We are very proactive people. We are very responsible. We know what are your needs. We have our resources, howsoever meager or limited it may be. We will leverage those resources to its optimal usage and we will reach out to you. The third thing is that we just cannot function now in the manner we functioned when we were working in a nice building, in a brick and mortar physical environment. Because we are not in that environment. We are at distributed locations. So when locations are distributed, I think your leadership also has to be a distributed leadership. And if ever anybody has read somewhere that the leadership has to be distributed, I think this is the best and most opportune time to exercise it. that how you create a new structure, how do you meet, how do you convey, how you are holding your meetings, how you are able to tell the new philosophy, purpose, drive of your organization. And that is something which is very, very important. Uh, I confess that we did not get much time as far as the schools are concerned. And almost overnight, as I said, we've switched over to this. But as the time has gone by, we have been able to meet the crisis. We have been able to survive out of that very difficult phase. But we should not lose time anymore. And all of us collectively within our organizations, the leadership should take the lead and design a protocol for online learning. How the online learning will take place, what are the resources we are going to take, what kind of training is required by the teachers, and what kind of lesson plans within the classroom. It is going to be synchronous or it is going to be asynchronous, in the sense that we want immediate talk and conversation and live demonstration of videos, or we want the videos and podcasts to be watched and children will be allowed to learn at their own pace and they can come back to the teacher with doubts and queries. What kind of protocol that you are going to put in place, that is something very, very important. And the fourth thing, this is very close to my heart, is that this is the best time. Everybody is ready. If ever any leader had any problem that your teachers or the people around you and the students are not reading, I think you can fulfill your desire of creating good readers now. I have used the word this bibliotherapy. It is a therapeutic exercise if we are able to suggest and recommend some very good books, stories, life histories, the stories of valor, the stories of success, the stories of failure, stories of meeting crisis. I think it is very soothing, it is very self-developing, it is very engaging, and at the same time it develops resilience, it develops kindness, it develops forgiveness in the people around. And therefore the good leaders should have an armory of these 5 strategies, and I'm sure they will be very, very effective in handling the situation at that particular time. So unconditional positive regard, compassionate adults, create new structures, design a protocol for online learning, and bibliotherapy. Read as much as you can, and encourage people to read as much as they can. And towards almost the end, may I tell you some very simple 3 tips I will suggest to the leaders. Communicate with your people. There is no over communication. Nobody has ever talked about that your communication could be over. No, there is no limit to your communication. And during that communication, you see, you have to, again, as I said earlier, that you have to ensure people that they have trust in you. They are hopeful and optimistic about things. They think that, yes, you are a compassionate leader, and they think that you are creating stability and assurances around you and nothing else. So communicate as much as you can, and communicate in a manner that we are able to tell even the most complex things in a very, very simple manner, and not the other way around. So this is the first tip that you have to deploy. The second tip is that invest in people and in their spirit. You see, all of us, whether we admit or we don't admit, our spirits are under a little bit of a dent, and that can only be uplifted by a very, very passionate leader. So investing in people, investing in talking to them, having conversation with them, coming to their help, and accepting them what they are, their weaknesses, their strengths, whatever. This is not the time to demand. This is not the time to extend the limits of your expectations, and let their spirits be very high, because there is a saying that you can break the people by whatever manner you want, but if their spirits are high, they will come out unscathed out of that traumatic experience. So the leader's job is to keep the spirits absolutely high and stay connected with the fellow colleagues. As leaders also, in a similar discussion sometime back, a leader asked me a question, sir, everything is fine and we are doing everything that we can do to the teachers and people and all that, but who will motivate us? Who will motivate and keep the spirits of leaders high? And my answer to that question is in the form of my this particular response, that is, stay connected with your colleagues. So when I say, when you are talking to your colleagues also know as a leader that what kind of situation that you are undergoing, and their responses and their talks and their ma'am, you too take care of yourself. This one sentence itself will be so uplifting and so boosting that you will not require any other help. But at the same time, as a leader, you have your own network of people. So talk to them, find out from them that how they are handling, how they are navigating the present situation, and how they are dealing a particular problem which is similar or comparable to the problem that you are facing. I think that will give you a little bit of room to maneuver, and you can immediately readjust your responses, and you will be in a fit shape and size once again. So that is the strategy. And at the end, this is one of my most favorite slide, in which an air hostess is standing with her hands folded inside an aircraft. The scene is very familiar to most of you. And I only want to remind you through this particular image that when we are traveling inside the aircraft, the air hostess tells one thing which is very, very important, and we unfortunately do not pay much attention to that. That they say that there is an oxygen mask, and please put that mask on you first before you attend to others. And the message is that as leaders, you have to take good care of yourself also, because if you are not in good shape,
Very true.
and if you are not your spirit is not very high, you're not very healthy, your
You,
mindfulness, your ability to reflect, your ability to concentrate, your ability to focus on something,
yes,
then probably will not be able to do much for others.
one,
And
yes,
therefore, I would request all the leaders who are listening to me that please never forget yourself.
yes,
Take good care of yourself. This is the good time to learn how to meditate or do yoga or do some salsa or
yes,
Zumba or whatever is preferable to you.
yes.
Read some books, keep connected with your colleagues, and keep attending webinars like this. I'm sure you will be in good shape and you will be able to do good for the people who are looking up to you as a fantastic leader. So these are some of my thoughts, Dr. Rainey. And if you have any related question,
Sure,
or
definitely, sir.
our viewers have any question,
Yes, sir.
I'll be very happy to interact with them.
Sure, sir. So, as you were just speaking, and I was just uh, culminating the whole thing and understanding that a leader should be having a caring attitude. Now,
Absolutely.
I want to put that care as a mnemonic, where C stands for capacity building and effective communication. Very, very
Absolutely.
important. A stands
Absolutely.
for adaptability. You need to
Yes.
adapt and adopt yourself to the current situation, because you
Absolutely.
might have been a leader, but
Mhm.
today is the time of crisis, and how you will be able to come out or combat this crisis is something. So adaptability and adoptable, being adopted to adopt
Yeah.
yourself is very important. R,
Absolutely.
I understand R as something very, very important, is building that kind of connect and
A relationship.
the right
Yeah.
attitude and the
Yeah.
relationship. Because
Yeah.
when you're going to communicate, you're going to create and build a relationship. You
Yeah.
are trying to,
Absolutely.
like you mentioned about a small email that a leader
Yeah.
has sent. It itself is such so magnificent. So it's a
Yeah.
wow feeling when you receive an email or a
Mm.
message like that. Hope you're doing well.
Absolutely.
That
Yeah.
itself is so wonderful. And a right
Absolutely.
attitude to things. If you
Yeah.
take this crisis as one of the worst things to affect in your life or impact your life, then that's never helping you to come up or to come out
Yeah.
of the situation. So it's like, a drowning person can never help another person who is also
Yeah.
in the phase of drowning. So
Yeah.
you need to bubble up, you need to come out, and
Yeah.
for that you need to build a lot of resilience within yourself to just
Yeah.
handle the situation. And E stands for empathy, where being empathetic is very important. You need to understand today how the other person is also feeling. Today may be a time that you are going through stress, but there will be different kinds of stress or different types of emotional unhealthy or emotional unwell-being. They are not emotionally strong. So being empathetic is also very true. So as a leader, you need to have this care attitude. This care really takes you a long way. So
Yeah.
your message throughout has been a wow
Thank you,
feeling
madam. You,
for all of us.
you have
For
summarized it beautifully. Yeah.
for all
Thank
of
you.
us. And I always feel, as a leader, when you set the goals right, then
Yeah.
your destiny is in the right direction.
Absolutely.
You design your path, your direction goes very right. So
Absolutely.
and I also would like to focus on your aspect of being very empathetic to your colleagues or to your co-workers. Is This is not the time that you consider human as just a being on this world or on
Yeah.
this earth, but regard and respect every human as a vital resource for our society today. Because unless and until you give that credential to a human being that you are important in our life, in
Yes.
our society, I'm sure that they are going to make wonders. Sir, I think this was wonderfully presented by you. I'm sure we
Thank you.
would be taking a few questions right now.
Yeah. So
Uh,
just one little remark before I take the questions.
yes,
So
sir.
you very rightly mentioned that a drowning person cannot save anybody else, but to save a drowning person, a small leaf is also
Also, yes.
enough,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So that is what the job of the leader
Leaders
is.
should be, yes.
And about the regard, I said unconditional positive regard. So
Yes.
these two adjectives are very, very
Very, very
important.
important.
Otherwise, giving regard will only remain a rhetoric.
Yes.
And
Very true.
so now I'm ready to take the questions. Thank you.
Yeah, yes, sir. We'll be taking a few questions. We'll just pause for a moment of silence.
I must tell you, Dr. Reni, one viewer is writing that this
Um,
attitude of
so,
care they have seen in Dr. Reni. So congratulations to you.
thank you. So we'll just take a moment of silence for the sad demise of actor Irfan Khan.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
We pray for the departed soul to rest in peace. Okay. Getting back to the session, sir.
Yes.
So there's a question that has come up is, how would I give assurance to the students that things are going to be all right post-COVID situation?
Yeah. So design a very well written piece of email. That is the first thing that you have to do, and tell them that situations they come and go. What is important is that how we deal with that situation,
So,
and let us deal with the present at this particular time, and let us not invite uncertainty or invite invisible fear.
yes,
And one strategy which is very, very useful in this stage is that both us and to our students, we have to practice that let us not feed our fears, let us feed our faith.
yes, great.
So we have to have faith that we will come out of it. And I hope we have time. One very
Yes, sir.
short anecdote I want to tell you that, and I
Sure.
recently heard it. A very famous magician, you might have heard, Mr. Shantanu Moitra, and he
Yes,
was
sir.
on a 100-day tour on his bike, and he went to a very high altitude in Dras, and he met a family of shepherds, in the morning, where in the previous night, uh, a snow leopard had entered the village and
Mhm.
killed the entire horde of that shepherd. And when Shantanu asked that shepherd, how do you feel? Are you not afraid? And the shepherd said, without a blink in his eyes, that, look, I am the guest here. This place belongs to snow leopards.
Oh,
And if
yes.
that was the will of the God, I'm sure God will will something else as well. You see, that is the faith. So we have to feed the faith and we have to starve the fears. I think that's it.
Hmm.
And in any case, we are in connected with them, and
Yeah.
treat this period
Yeah.
as a period of holiday and fun making and things like that, and just wait for the better times.
So we have, thank you so much. So we have another question which speaks about people first in true sense is a challenge. What one tip you would like to give to head of the institution, teacher, management?
So I think my entire discussion was about people first. So what does it mean? People first means three or four things. So unconditional positive regard for the people, recognition of their contribution. You see, I say something which looks very weird, and I don't know how leader viewers of this program will take it. But I say that you are a leader not because of any special credentials, not because of anything else. In fact, as a leader, you have become a person with least qualifications, because you just cannot accomplish anything without the help of others. And therefore, my definition of a leader is one who, from his independence, has gone into the zone of dependence. So you are depending on people. As a principal, I'm functioning because of my teachers. So that is what the meaning of people first is. So recognizing their potential. And then once you recognize that you are able to accomplish through
Yeah.
them, is invest in them. So you cannot function with a team which is not well trained. How can you win a battle with an army which doesn't have the necessary weaponry, which doesn't have the necessary wherewithal? So you have to invest in people.
Yes.
This is
Yes.
the third very,
Very.
very important thing. And the fourth thing is people first means that you celebrate these successes together and give the credit where it is due. So I put it in a different way, that if something has gone well, give credit to your people. And if something has gone wrong, you take the blame. That is the true essence of keeping people first.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Dr. Sunita Magre, ma'am, would you like to pose any questions to our speaker?
Hello.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes.
Your views, ma'am.
My views. Thank you, sir, for giving us such a nice, wonderful talk. And I think
Thank you.
every participants is enjoying your session. Definitely, in future, we also organize on the seminar, and definitely we invite you as a resource person and in face-to-face mode. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Sunita. I'm humbled and thank you very much.
Mhm. We'll also take up a few other questions. So there's a question here: is leadership is a part of personality or vice versa? If so, how?
Okay. So I think this is a very fantastic question.
Mhm.
So, leadership and personality. I think the first thing is what kind of person you are. And leadership, in my opinion, is not because of any designation. All of us are leaders. So I would just recite here very briefly a very nice, I will translate it in English also for the benefit of our viewers. The prayer goes like this: हमको जीवन देने वाले, देना हमको ये वरदान, विद्या और कला हम सीखें, बन जाएं अच्छे इंसान. What
Wonderful.
does it mean is, oh God, you have given us this beautiful life. Bless us with education and art and creativity so that we become a good human being. That is what personality is. And once this has come, whatever position we are given, we'll be able to perform to the best of our ability. So that is what leadership is. You see, if an adverse situation comes and very ordinary people are there, one person emerges out of that as a leader from nowhere without any MBA qualifications. So how to build a dam and how to remove a log from the middle of a road, or how to carry a victim of road accident to the nearby hospital. What kind of degree or diploma you require for that leader. So I think leadership is a subset of being a good human being.
Yes,
And
very true. Very true.
of course, you as a leader, the only difference that you create is that you are called upon to exhibit those good human qualities more often than probably you would have not. And of course, the bonus of that is that you do get the credit for the work which people have done. And that is why I cautioned in the beginning that please celebrate it together and give credit to the people. That will make you humble, and that will make you even better human being, even more refined human being, and therefore even more better leader.
Wonderful. I really like that. That you are exhibiting the good qualities and being a good human being. That's where we fail to understand at times when you become a leader and when that human qualities and human touch is lost.
Absolutely.
Wonderfully said, sir. Um, so there is another question: is qualification necessary for leadership? I think you just answered that, but then
Yes, I have answered it, but perhaps Dr.
yes,
Richa Singh wants to know that, do we require to be a PhD or MBA from
yeah,
Harvard
true.
to become a leader?
Leader.
You see, I mean, I will tell you, I think this particular question gives me an opportunity to throw light on something else also.
Yes,
What we call is, Dr. Richa, gross qualifications, the qualifications which we attain due to formal education or distance education or whatever, we become postgraduate and technically qualified. So that is the gross qualification.
yes,
And for certain aspects of life, that may be necessary also. If you have to become an engineer, you have to have a gross qualification. But just merely having a gross qualification, you don't become a first rate engineer. That I can assure you.
yes,
And that is proven by the result and
yes,
survey
sir.
as well. So what actually happens, I will tell you, is that after or alongside your journey of acquiring those gross qualifications, you have to develop those other qualification, and I call it soft skills or life skills, or those skills which make you a good human being.
True.
So I was very surprised when I talked to a child some time ago, and that was an eye opener for me. I asked, "Now, what is that you want to be in life?" And she told me, to my surprise, that, "Sir, I want to be a good doctor."
Okay.
Now imagine, I think a doctor means good only. But she said, no, I want to be a good
Good
doctor.
doctor.
So imagine young children are also, are able to segregate
Yes,
the profession with something being good.
yes,
So those goodness of human being also we have to acquire. And this has been my one regret in my life, that in our school education system, in our college education system, the entire focus is on developing those technical skills, technical qualification, which Dr. Richa is mentioning, qualification per se.
yeah,
But qualification to be a good human being, to develop teamwork, ability to solve problems, think critically, be developing empathy, compassion, keeping people first, working in a team. I think those qualities will make you a good leader, and a good human being at the same time.
Yes, wonderful, sir. Yeah, I think Dr. Richa will be really more, and she would have added more value to what you had spoken about now. Thank you so much, sir, for being with us, and
Thank you.
it was a pleasure that you were there, and you so very well, you so articulated the entire thought process of ethics and strategy in leadership. We are truly privileged that your
Thank you.
presence has
Thank
really
you
made.
very much.
Yeah.
It has been a great pleasure for me. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you for inviting me. Thank you, Professor Sunita, for listening to me all through. I'm absolutely humbled. And since you have already said that you would like me to be there, that further humbles me. And I offer my time and energy, anything at my command, to be with the people that you want me to be. Thank you, Dr.
Thank you,
Rainey.
sir. Thank you.
Thank you for your organization for
Yeah.
inviting me.
Thank you,
Thanks a
sir.
lot.
Yes.
Take
Stay
care and
connected.
wish you.
Same to you, sir. Sir, stay connected. As we come to the end of our 3-day webinar, may I request Dr. Sunita Magre, ma'am, to kindly deliver the valedictory address.
Hello, hello, Rini, am I audible? Rini, am I audible? Hello, hello,
Yes, ma'am, you're audible. Yes, ma'am.
audible? Hello. Okay, okay, okay. So, on behalf of the University of Mumbai, um I am really too blessed for organizing this webinar on the leadership skill in the post COVID-19. And really, it's a great collaboration with Mahatma Education Society's Pillai College of Education, along with the Thane campus. And we definitely provide more and more programs for our teaching fraternity. This is one of the this is one of the area to provide the webinar. Then another, in upcoming days we are again organizing the webinar on the uh, teaching skills, learning skills, and the teaching learning, along with the leadership styles. So, which leadership style is useful for the teachers and the learning fraternity? So, we will definitely organize such kind of the webinars. And on these 3 days, I extremely uh, thanks from my bottom of heart to the our Vice Chancellor, University of Mumbai, Professor Suhas Pednikar sir, then Pro Vice Chancellor, Dr. Ravindra Kulkarni sir, and a big supporter of mine, Dr. Ajay Bhamre sir, the Dean, Faculty of Commerce, for giving such an opportunity to organize this kind of the webinars and the motivation. And the big thank you to the management of Mahatma Education Societies and the team of Pillai College of Education and Research Chembur. And lastly but not the least, uh, I would like to thank to all the participants from the various country, because we got a lot of support from the participants. I think Dr. Reni knows the exact figure, but she sent me the message that I think 550 or more than 550 people were registered for this webinar. So thank you very much for joining this webinar. Definitely future in future we will definitely organize such kind of the seminar in the collaborations. And thank you very much. Oh, very good. Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Your support has indeed been an inspiration for us to organize many such events. It's my proud privilege to propose the vote of thanks as we come towards the end. Um, I'd like to thank Almighty God for giving us an opportunity and for keeping us safe and helping us to conduct this web series of webinars so successfully. It is my pleasure to thank University of Mumbai, Professor Suhas Pednikar sir, Vice Chancellor Dr. Ravindra Kulkarni, Pro Vice Chancellor Dr. Ajay Deshmukh, Registrar Dr. Ajay Bamre Sir, Dean Commerce Faculty, for their support through this webinar. My deepest gratitude to Dr. Sunita Magre, IC Director, Thane Subcampus, Professor, Department of Education, University of Mumbai, for your support, motivation, planning, and initiation of this webinar. My heartfelt thanks to the management of Mahatma Education Society, Dr. K.M. Vasudevan Pillai, Dr. Daphne Pillai, Dr. Priyam Pillai, and Mr. Pranav Pillai for their motivation in organizing this webinar series. My heart goes in abundance gratitude to our wonderful resource person who have been delivering excellent, vibrant sessions for all our 3 days. Mr. Wilbrod George, Dr. Antra Sonavne, Dr. Priyam Pillai, Dr. Swaroop Sampat Rawal, and Dr. Ashok Pandey. Your sessions have truly made our webinar a true success in all its ways. My heartfelt gratitude to all the participants, far and wide, who have been participating so enthusiastically in this wonderful webinar series. You have motivated us to go further and reach beyond. My heartfelt gratitude to the entire team of MES's Pillai College of Education and Research for their tireless efforts in planning and organizing this webinar. A special mention to the SLN Global Network for live streaming our webinar on all the 3 days. As we come to an end, we pray for the departed souls during this period. We also pray and thank God for keeping us safe. We thank our government, central and the state government, and all our frontline warriors who have been taking efforts in keeping us safe while we stay at home. My sincere apologies to anyone whom I have missed to thank for this webinar. Thank you so much. Stay safe and stay blessed. Hope to see you soon once again personally, and we really like to connect with you more on various such occasions. Thank you.